Hi and welcome to the Beer Temple. I am Chris Quinn, and today I have two beers that walked into the store about a week or so ago from a gentleman named Rusty. Rusty, thank you very much. Rusty was visiting from Virginia and wanted to bring some of the local beers. So thank you very much. He brought two Wicked Weed beers, a brewery that I've never tried before, but I've started to hear more and more buzz about it. One of these breweries known for their wine barrel aging and wild yeast and bacteria beers. Doesn't sound really appealing there, but you know, the wild, the soured, Belgian style ales, done in you know, the more American style, you know, think a lot of like what Crooked Stave does. Jolly Pumpkin, probably one of, you know, the original, just one of the OGs. Yeah, Rusty was telling me that there's just a lot of buzz and that they're making some really nice beers at Wicked Weed. Where precisely are they? Let's see. Does it say? Oh, Asheville, Virginia. Roll back everything I said about Virginia and insert North Carolina. So Asheville, man, quite the mecca Asheville has become. So very cool. Man, beautiful label art here, really kind of cool and psychedelic and like fantastical stuff. So really neat. I'll start out with Serenity. This is 100% Brett fermented beer, 100% wild yeast. They also, I believe, age these in barrels, but we'll have to see. Doesn't really say. Marketing talk. Ethereal child Brettanomyces was born of the dust. Some deep stuff right there. Yeah, barrel-aged farmhouse ale. Anyway, I'll skip the birth of Brett and just kind of get into the beer. New brewery, I think they started in 2010 or so, and they do have, you know, normal, traditional brewer's yeast beers and IPAs and the like. But this is kind of their pet project, barrel-aged stuff. Drinking out of a snifter today, why not? Beautiful golden color, a little bit of a haze to it, really nice white fluffy head. Oftentimes Brett beers are going to have higher carbonation because they will continue to eat more complex sugars than brewer's yeast is capable of doing. As they eat the sugar, they make alcohol, but they also output bubbles as well, CO2, which is sometimes why you get gushers. I learned this time, because I've had some gushing problems lately, and chilled these down to help kind of keep that CO2 in solution as much as possible. Anyway, the bubbles have died down a little bit, but there's still a nice kind of layer of foam on there. A lot of the classic earthy, dusty, born of the dust, Brett is. Dusty Brett character. Hey, a little bit of like that smell you get when you walk around in the zoo. You know, you get a little bit of that like earthy, manure-y straw thing. Not necessarily a bad smell, but you know, just a real kind of earthy smell. Yeah, for sure. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of like a manure smell. It's not that bad. There's a little sulfur as well, which might make me think that too. Yeah, definitely some sulfury notes. Light, very low bitterness, very light mouthfeel, very aqueous, watery mouthfeel to it. Again, a lot of what provides mouthfeel in a beer is sugars. Maybe not sugars that are fermentable sugars for brewer's yeast, but sugars. They kind of give you body, even if you can't necessarily perceive the sweetness from them. And Brett will eat those sugars and take away the body of that beer. I've seen some wild yeast and bacteria stouts that have aged for years, and the body is completely gone. I mean, it's just like as thin-bodied beer as it could possibly be, but it started out as a stout. Now, there are other things that can also provide body to a beer as well, like proteins, and that won't necessarily get broken down, but it's nice, peppery, a little bit of tartness, not too much. You know, a little bit of like a white wine character to it. Quite a bit of sulfur in this one. You know, a little bit of that eggy smell to it. Solid beer, really nice. You know, worth a try. I don't know if I would, you know, bend over backwards to try it again unless someone told me, oh, you didn't get a good bottle. They've got some bottle variation and stuff like that. But a solid bottle, fun, and just absolutely beautiful. I just love the packaging of these 500 mils. I believe they're 500 mil. They might be a little smaller. Yeah, 500 mil. 5.5%. Gold medal. American Style Brett Beer 2013. So last year. So hey, what do I know? You know? Anyway, moving on. We have got the Black Angel. This is a black sour ale aged in bourbon barrels with sour cherries. And let's see, does it have anything? No longer fit for the heavens, she was exiled to the woods of obscurity. Fruit of the wood. Virtue of the evil that infected her. After a long respite, she emerged from the wood with a profound new strength. So they're talking about the beer as if it were a person, and they're making this story about it. And cast bacilli the black into the great darkness. Nefarious bacilli the black. Interesting. I'm just gonna keep my comments to myself. Anyway, so dark ale, bourbon barrels, cherries. Looks like there's some lactobacilli, I would guess, in this one as well. Dark beer, good clarity. Really like a chestnut brown color. In the center, it's even darker, like a really dark nut brown in there. A lot going on. I'm getting the booze, you know, I'm getting that whiskey note to it. I'm getting some of the wood here as well. You know, some of that char, you know, wine barrels often don't have that big, heavy char that bourbon does, and you don't get those same big coconut vanilla flavors that you can in a whiskey barrel, and some of that is coming through. There's also some dark fruit. I would say, to me, it smells even darker than like a cherry, like blackberry, plum, something like that, and some of that peppery quality as well. Little chocolate, like cocoa powder, a lot going on with this beer. This beer could go either way. It could be just too much, not playing in harmony, or if all these smells come together, this could be a really awesome beer. A little thicker bodied, not much, still fairly thin. You get a lot more of this chocolatey stout black ale quality to it. Some, like you can hear me kind of licking my lips or whatever, smacking my lips. And there's some acidity there, and acidity kind of gets your saliva going, so my mouth is kind of watering now from that acidity. You know, it's not full-blown sour. It's got a nice tartness to it and some chocolate. It's like, I don't know, if you had some, well, sour cherries, or I always think of raspberry and chocolate, so maybe some unripe raspberries where they're still really tart to go along with the chocolate. More of a cocoa than like a bittersweet chocolate. Again, a solid beer. A lot going on. On the flavor, I don't get as much of the bourbon than I thought I would, but still a really fun beer, and just really cool to get to try these beers that I have not ever had a chance to try before. So thank you guys for bringing in the beer. It's always awesome to try these new beers of all sorts from all over the country that kind of make their way in here, and I just thought this would be a fun one to share with you guys. Thank you as always. If you have any questions, shoot me an email at info@craftbeertemple.com, or just leave them as a comment on the video page on craftbeertemple.com. We're also on Facebook and YouTube and all over the place, and iTunes. And if you like the show, I do always appreciate a review. It does help keep us up there in the ratings, so in the rankings, I should say. So anyway, guys, I'm going to share this with everybody. We got to get the store open today, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show on Wicked Weed from Asheville, North Carolina, not Virginia, contrary to what some people may tell you. But thanks as always, guys. I always appreciate it. Until next time, I've got some great beers to taste out, and come on by and then you will too. Cheers.